20 minutes. Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are having a beautiful Tuesday. I'm the Gray Strega, and we are doing the daily collective read for today, Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards today? Let us get the first 5 cards of our 5-card spread. The first card that we are starting with today, I like this energy because we are starting with a 6 of Pentacles. This means that there is a lot of a feeling of generosity today, of really being able to put the effort into places that you are seeing that effort coming through. Thank you so much for the gift, Witch's Brew. And also being able to receive it in kind. So being able to really find these areas right now that are being generous to you, and being able to not only experience that generosity, but also to reciprocate it. Continuing to get clarity on these points right now. The next card we have coming through, we've got 2 cards coming through for the next one, is this is going to feel a little bit rough right now for masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. And this Knight of Wands in its reversal. So having a moment right now of potentially some feelings of self-doubt, of vulnerability, having their guard down. And this is what is potentially causing a bit of a blocker right now for the masculine energy coming forward in a very foundational way as it relates to their own passions or even their own projects right now. This could also be why they are relying right now on the generosity of others as they kind of experience this moment. For feminine right now, this could actually be not necessarily one, potentially even 2 masculine energies that are potentially around you right now that are in 2 different modes, but that you are feeling that you may have to be a bit generous towards right now because they are in this place where they are feeling very vulnerable, and you're also experiencing a place where they're not necessarily coming forward with the passion or the communication that you would typically anticipate from this energy. Continuing to get clarity on these points right now, the next card in our 5-card beginning spread we have coming through right now. This is a 7 of Cups moment. So there is something about this blocked energy that we're seeing around the masculine that is really opening the door on options. We are seeing this here with the 7 of Cups. Whenever we see this card, this is a really important card to keep in mind as it relates to what you are trying to manifest and what you are trying to go forward with. Because often one of the difficulties that we can experience with this 7 of Cups moment is a feeling of overwhelm or uncertainty as it relates to what you are trying to choose and how you are choosing to go forward. And this is also a strong recommendation to meditate, to ground, to really try to manifest what you're trying to experience as you go forward from this point. For masculine, this is potentially causing some of this state of uncertainty, this overwhelm they're experiencing as they try to make a determination on what they're going to be going after or moving forward towards. Whereas for feminine, it could be the fact that due to this masculine energy around you right now that is not coming forward in the way that you would typically anticipate or hope for, you are allowing yourself to keep yourself open to other options that are around you right now as you determine what to do or where to go forward next. Continuing to get clarity right now in terms of these cards. The next card right now for their 5-card spread is this is a Chariot in its reversal moment right now. So there is something that is feeling like a bit of a block as it relates to this energy. I always like to point out with the Chariot card that a Chariot is a card that requires kind of multiple energies in order to move forward. So whatever this blockage is that is happening on the masculine side, this could be causing some kind of inability to move forward, especially given the fact that we see here with clarification that it has to do with not necessarily knowing what you are driving towards right now. So being able to take this consideration point and really focus on the self and really ask yourself, what is it that you're looking to drive forward on? What is it you're hoping to experience? What is that next step for you? That's what's going to help you kind of move through this difficult Chariot in reversed energy. Also, potentially for feminine right now, trying to figure out ways to move forward, even in the wake of some of this masculine energy feeling blocked or not necessarily aligned with your own potential goals and aspirations. Continuing to get the final card for our 5-card spread right now, we have this is a 7 of Swords in its reversal, which is a card that I do very much like to see in its reversal, because we do see here that while there is some inability in terms of how to go forward, we also see here a decision not to go back to past circumstances or past situations because of the acknowledgement that there are places that are only creating or eliciting pain, and making the acceptance points. As I always say, when we see this card, we don't go back to the sword store for puppies or kittens. We only go back for swords. So being able to acknowledge right now, even though you are having some inability in terms of, or some difficulty in terms of moving forward, you are also not letting yourself go back to situations or circumstances that have hurt you. But we do feel like there is a bit of an uncertain blocker today in terms of what that future scenario looks like as you head into it. Continuing to get clarity right now, getting clarity between the Six of Pentacles card. So this feeling of having to be generous right now. And it's masculine energy potentially having to lean on some generosity right now, as they're not necessarily feeling in their positive, but feeling some feelings of vulnerability and weakness, and also potentially having some kind of communication block or block in terms of being able to go after the things that they're truly feeling passionate about. Whereas for feminine right now, this could be putting a lot of generosity in right now towards maybe potentially one, maybe even two masculine energies that you feel are in a moment of vulnerability or in a moment of lack of communication, and asking yourself if you're going to be generous towards those energies. May I please get a card? We've got here, I like all this energy too. Five of Swords in its reversal. So again, this moment of putting down conflict, this moment of not wanting to go back into conflict, trying to be generous in areas where there were conflict for and hope to end them, potentially not necessarily like allowing yourself to move forward from this point, not letting yourself kind of dredge up old arguments or old experiences, letting the past be the past, moving forward from this point with a more generous nature, potentially even around some of these energies that may have been connected to these conflicts. So for masculine energy, what we're really seeing here is there may be some energy around a recent conflict or problem or circumstance that you are making the choice not to return back to, and you are just trying to kind of move towards those energies that are being generous to you in this point, because whatever this is did put you feeling in a moment of deep vulnerability. Whereas for feminine right now, this is kind of putting in some generosity towards potentially some masculine energies that are blocked, hoping to move forward in a more productive fashion as you go forward from this point. Continuing to get clarity right now between this King of Swords in its reversal and this Knight of Wands in its reversal. So masculine being in a point of vulnerability right now that's making it hard for them to communicate or really drive forward on their passions, and also due to a fact that they're unsure about what they want or truly desire, potentially keeping too many options open, which is also causing a block. Thank you so much for the gift, Ams. And for feminine right now, this is potentially exploring options right now because you feel that some of the energy that is coming directed towards you right now isn't coming towards you as vicariously or as vivaciously as possible, that there are some blocks right now, potentially around one, even two masculine energies that just are not able to come towards you in the way that you would desire. And this is leaving you in a place where you're looking at your options. May I please get one card to clarify? We've got our one card here. Devil energy. And this is what I mean. This is about being able to manifest. This is about being able to know what it is you're going after, because there is something here about when you leave too many options open, you create a block. And some of this indecision and some of this uncertainty is triggering some potentially not positive coping mechanisms. This could be bad habits. This could be bad modalities of thought. This could be negative thinking. This could even be returning to potentially toxic or harmful karmic relationships. Anything that is keeping you in a lower vibration right now, some of this indecisiveness and some of this vulnerability, particularly on the masculine end, particularly with a masculine right now that is feeling this weakness point and this inability to drive forward in some way, and this uncertainty is causing this moment of getting back into some triggering habits, triggering modes of thoughts, triggering coping mechanisms. For feminine right now, this could be triggering some issues right now because of this feeling of these masculines not coming forward in the way that you desire, and kind of going to feeling this moment of overwhelm as you consider your options. Again, causing this trigger point that needs to be addressed with this devil energy. Continuing to get clarity on these points right now, getting clarity between this sense of overwhelm or uncertainty or indecision, even potentially a point of illusion. Makes a lot of sense considering. Thank you so much for the subscription, Pedrita. Also keeping in mind right now that this is a card that frequently talks about this. This is very connected to the moon card that we pulled yesterday, not necessarily feeling like you can get the truth or see the truth. Thank you so much for the gift, Jen. And also feeling this inability to move forward because of this moment of overwhelm, because of this indecision, needing this moment right now to really focus on your goals and your aspirations as you go forward from this point. Thank you, Lorianne. You'll be the first person read for at the conclusion of this. We have here, this is a bit of a triggering day. We're going to see it right here with the Nine of Wands, that there is something that is making you feel somewhat wounded, somewhat hurt. Some of these past experiences coming back to rear their head as you move forward from this point of pain, because there's something about these options being open and having to explore these options that's causing this trigger point. Because I see here that there is a desire and a deep need to be able to find some functional way forward right now with a collaborative energy. And not being able to find the right collaborative energy to move forward with is what's causing a bit of this block right now. Continuing to get clarity right now on these cards between the Chariot and its reversal. So feeling necessarily like you don't have the collaborative energy right now or the ability to drive forward in the way that you want, but at the same time being very resistant to going back to bad circumstances or scenarios from the past that have shown you that they cannot allow you to have this movement going forward, and being very, I like this, sticking very much to your guns about not going back to those things that have hurt you. May I please get one card to clarify? We have here coming through the Three of Pentacles in its reversal. So there is something here about really kind of uprooting something, rebuilding something from the foundations, going back to the drawing board, understanding that there is something that was not built with a strong foundation in your life right now. And it is this moment that you're allowing yourself in terms of being able to create this new foundation for yourself. But it's going to require some deconstruction before you go into a place of construction, because something is clearly not working and you're trying to get to the bottom of what is not working so that you do not repeat the mistakes of the past as you lay the groundwork for the future as you go forward from this point. Continuing to get clarity on these cards right now, getting clarity between this Five of Swords in its reversal and this Devil energy. So again, wanting the past to be the past, not wanting to continue old conflicts or arguments, but there's something about these incidents or experiences from the past that are still rearing their head around you that is causing some moment that you're feeling triggered, that some of these bad coping mechanisms are rising back to the surface as you consider these old things that you're moving away from, potentially even addressing or considering toxic relationships or toxic habits. May I please get and particularly for masculine energy, considering you are very much in a vulnerability point with all of these reversed court cards. There is a feeling of fast movement happening, that there's something about wanting to move away from this energy that is happening, and it's happening quickly. And so this is a day of activity that you may be taking a lot of like rushed actions, because I feel like you're trying to make a fast movement away from some of these things that are making you feel triggered or making you kind of get back into some of this low vibrational energy that you're clearly trying to walk away from with this Five of Swords in its reversal. Continuing to get clarity right now between this Devil energy. So some of these harmful situations or circumstances, these low vibrational thinking, potentially even toxic connections or toxic karmic relationships that are not allowing you to reach your full spiritual potential, and experiencing and feeling a lot of the wounds that some of these bad coping mechanisms, these harmful thoughts, these harmful relationships have left you in. Really addressing the wounds that were created from these experiences from the past or the present. May I please get one card? We've got two cards coming up here. We have here the Wheel of Fortune and the King of Pentacles. So much masculine energy in its reversal today. So again, this is going to hit a little bit differently depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. There is something here about trusting fate and allowing yourself to kind of follow the fate that is being kind of led ahead you, really putting your trust in your path. And for masculine right now, this is a moment where you're really relying on fate because you are feeling at a point of deep instability. We're seeing this deep instability with the masculine right now, with the lack of foundation, of practical stability, with this King of Pentacles in its reversal, and also feeling this lack of confidence with the King of Swords. And that is what's causing you not to feel like you can drive forward on a lot of offers or projects right now, or passions, with the Knight of Wands. But this is a moment that masculine is trying to heal this by really trying to trust in the path of fate. For feminine right now, this is just looking at a lot of manifestations of masculine right now that are around you, and not feeling like they are as stable, as supported as you would ideally like. There may even be three. There may even be, like when I say that there's lots of options right now for feminine right now, we're seeing that there's a lot of different masculine energies. These are a lot of different manifestations potentially coming around the feminine energy. But the thing is, the feminine's looking at them and being like, asking themselves if there's really stability there or if they're just going to create more instability. But I also see here that feminine is taking this moment to really kind of allow fate to guide them to the energies that are going to be best for them, even understanding that some of the ones that they're seeing at present may not necessarily seem like they're in the most stable place. Continuing to get clarity right now between this Nine of Wands. So this moment of feeling, thank you for the gifts, this moment of feeling these wounds, experiencing these wounds, trying to heal from these wounds, maybe even feeling a little closed off or isolated as you work through some of these pains because of something that has fallen apart or is being deconstructed right now. These are wounds that were created because of this thing that you are moving away from that you realize now did not have a strong foundation. May I please get one card to clarify? We have here, I like this energy. I like this energy though, because this says to me that all of this, even as you're going from a place of wounding, is driving you into new passions, new projects, new opportunities. You're using this moment to rebuild, even from a place of feeling wounded and hurt and somewhat guarded. You're not letting this stop you. This is how we're getting the Chariot out of its reversal here. This is this new energy, and also not necessarily going back to the incidents and experiences of the past. You are really embracing your passions and the new passions coming towards you at this moment, masculine and feminine. Continuing to get the next two cards to clarify between this Temperance in its reversal. So feeling like the time is now, maybe even feeling divinely led to take a very rush or what could feel like a rash action, but feeling like you're being intuitively guided to go down that point. Particularly because there is something that you feel like you're being called or drawn to do on your fate path right now. Masculine may be experiencing this even at a moment where they're feeling potentially some instability or unstableness. Feminine is doing this potentially in despite is what I'm really seeing, despite some masculine that has caused some point of instability in their lives with their own instability. Feminine's not allowing this to kind of block them right now. They're just really kind of moving forward and they're letting things guide them on their path. Can I please get the next card? One card, please. We have, this is beautiful because we have here the Six of Wands coming up. So we're really seeing that this is a point of victory that is coming for masculine and feminine right now, that they are necessarily kind of, again, even though masculine is not necessarily feeling that stable, they're taking the steps necessary to get them into the places where they feel they will be most seen and appreciated. For feminine right now, this could be moving away from some unstable manifestation of masculine, trusting your fate path and moving towards the places where you're feeling truly seen and appreciated for your work and your efforts. Continuing to get clarity right now between this Wheel of Fortune, so trusting your fate path right now, even for masculine, while they're going through a point of feeling material instability. For feminine, but also using this opportunity to really channel your creativity in this point, even going through this unstable point materially. For feminine right now, trusting your fate path and allowing new creative opportunities and passions to come towards you right now, despite some masculine energy that has caused some instability, or it feels like they are unstable around you. May I please get one card to clarify? That's the card. Come on. We have here, there's the counterpart to the masculine's King of Swords in its reversal. Here is the Queen of Swords. So these energies are somewhat reflecting one another to an extent, because we're seeing here this is going to feel a little bit different depending on masculine or feminine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For feminine, we see that today is a point of, again, moving towards a point of celebration, but still feeling a bit vulnerable, a bit to some experiences potentially caused by a masculine energy that created this moment of instability for you. Having some of your guards dropped, but I feel like some of these guards being dropped is so that you can allow some of this new energy and these new possibilities and these new passions towards you right now. Where for masculine, this could be moving forward right now towards a manifestation of feminine who you feel is very vulnerable right now, and being able to feel like you can have some success around this vulnerability point, even while you're going through this experience of feeling unstable in your own material life at the moment. The final card for today's spread, getting clarity between this moment of victory and this Queen of Swords. So for masculine right now, feeling like there is some victory point that you could potentially achieve, particularly related to a feminine that you feel has their guard down or is being very vulnerable to you at this point. For feminine right now, allowing this moment of vulnerability that you are experiencing, and even as you're feeling this moment of vulnerability, allowing yourself to move into the places where you are being fully seen and appreciated. May I please get the final card for today's spread? We have new plans, new opportunities. This could be a day of planning or preparation for some positive circumstance or situation in the future. This would also see a clarity point between this Chariot that's breaking down, because for feminine, it's almost like what we're seeing is feminine is going to be creating some positive circumstances or plans for themselves as they go forward from this point that are truly going to allow them to be seen and appreciated. For masculine, this could be putting some plans in place that allow them to get closer to some feminine who they feel is vulnerable and open to them, accepting that there is some celebration point to be experienced there. Bottom of the deck on this very interesting read for today, we have Tower in its reversal. So a lot of this is kind of playing cleanup right now for an experience that caused a lot of harm or caused a lot of damage. That would explain why we see so much of this devil energy coming up, so much of this Chariot in its reversal, and so much of this instability. So for masculine in particular, I feel like there is a lot of recovery that's happening from this crisis or tower moment that was experienced. And for feminine, we also see that there is some vulnerability that was triggered and some wounds that are being healed from this moment. But we do like the fact that the Tower is in its reversal, because it really shows us that something was being cleared to get you back on your life path, and that this is the work that we see going forward, leading to brighter possible future outcomes. Well, that is our daily collective read for the day. Thank you so much for being here with me to experience it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. The link is in my bio. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today, and we will do this again tomorrow.